Hi everyone. Hi SCMHRD team. Welcome to the live session on MBA Jam with SCMHRD. So we have a team from SCMHRD who will be talking about the college. And if you have any queries, you can put in the chat box and they will answer the queries which is there. So I will hand over. You can start. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we kickstart our first YouTube Live of MBA Jam Season 17. We are here to give you some tips and insights about Snap. Also, do stay tuned as we have some really exciting surprises for you. Let's make sure the session is interactive. You can keep dropping in your queries in the chat box. So, to introduce myself, I'm Lavanya Jeevan from the Admissions and PR team of SCMHRD, and my specialization is Business Analytics. I scored 99.36 percentile in SNAP 2023. I have with me.
So, hi guys, my name is Agniva Mitra. I'm currently pursuing Human Resources as a specialization from SCMHRD. I'm also from the Admissions and PR team, and my SNAP percentile last year was 99.2.
Hi everyone, my name is Mritika Bhattacharya. Currently, I'm pursuing MBA in Sales and Marketing from SCMHRD. And also, like the two of them, I'm also a part of the Admissions and PR team of SCMHRD. And my SNAP percentile was 99.02.
Okay, so I think we can get started. Can we have the first slide, please? So these are a few important dates for SNAP. So as you all know, the SNAP registrations have already closed, but we all have our college registration still open. So the last date to register for SCMHRD is 7th of December. So make sure you register before that. And the SNAP test, like we know, would be held on 8th, 15th, and 21st of December. And the test results would be announced on 8th of January. Post which we have the shortlist announcement on 17th of January, and the GPI process will begin on the last week of January onwards for different specializations. So moving ahead. So if you haven't already, please do go and register for SCMHRD and other colleges. Like you can see in the screenshot attached, we have the MBA specialization, course specialization of SCMHRD. We have the business analytics specialization of SCMHRD, and we have the infrastructure development and management. So make sure you fill these up before it closes on 7th of December. Mritika, would you like to continue, please?
Yeah, sure. Let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, so these are some of the tips that we as 99 percentilers of SNAP would like to share with the people who will be appearing for SNAP 24. And these are very personalized experiences of what we had faced as aspirants when we were in your shoes as well. First, starting with the tips for general English. So in our opinion, we found grammar to be a very important part because if one is not confident in the basics of grammar, they will not be able to crack a lot of questions that come in the general English section of SNAP. You must practice questions on topics like reported speech, tenses, subject-verb agreement a lot because these are very important topics and you might get quite a number of questions coming from these sections. And also one should be quite familiar with idioms, proverbs, because in our experiences when we gave SNAP last year, at least 1 or 2 questions came in every slot of SNAP from idioms, proverbs, and phrases. A very important tip that we would like to share with you is try to complete the verbal section within 7 to 8 minutes. Although there are 15 questions and according to the timing, 15 minutes are allotted, but we would encourage you to complete the verbal section faster compared to the other quants and the logical section because in those sections, you might encounter some calculations. You have to use your pen and paper, but nothing like that. Either you know or you don't know. So try to finish it within the first 7 to 8 minutes. And as I've already mentioned, memorize idioms and all these idiomatic expressions. Try to encounter as many idioms as you can by reading articles or going through newspapers or storybooks, and try to memorize them and try to attempt them when they come in the paper. And also, like we would like, as I had done during my preparation, I used to keep every day 15 minutes for reading. either I used to read some articles, magazines, or the newspaper, because I would come across new words, and those words I used to keep a track of these new words, which I would like try to remember, and that really helped me in my verbal preparation. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So the tips for analytical and logical reasoning. So one thing is, the most number of questions come in this particular section. As you might know, there are 25 questions coming in this section. So first is, try to save as much time as possible and try to maximize your attempt in this particular section. And this you can do only by improvising your skills, practice more and more number of problems, solve puzzles regularly. That will really help in enhancing your logical thinking capabilities. And also another thing that we already faced during our preparation was, we used to make certain assumptions. What I remember from my personal experience was that in blood relation, there is a topic in logical reasoning. So if someone, like if the question is A is B's son, so we already took into account that B is a male. But we should not do that. A is the son of B, but we cannot consider B is as the male. So one should avoid these small assumptions, which can differentiate, which can actually which can actually fetch you negative marks for that. Again, the answers that you are attempting for the logical reasoning should be solely based on your calculations and not on your assumptions. And allocate time to reasoning in proportion to other sections, because as I've mentioned, a lot of questions, 25 questions out of 60 will be coming from the logical and the analytical section. And another tip that we already have used is that there are some questions, especially if I can remember from the coding decoding questions, where the alphabets and accordingly their numbers were required to solve the questions. So what I used to do is, I used to use a pen or pencil and write down beforehand. And even because I had practiced a lot of questions of the same format, I already remembered, like A stands for 1 and Z stands for 26, and the other alphabets and according to the numbers. Moving ahead to the next slide, please. Okay, so some important tips for the quantitative section. One thing that really helped me in my preparation was remembering the fractions and their percentages, the corresponding percentages. For example, in a lot of arithmetic questions, you will come across the percentages, maybe like 1 by 6. So you should know it's 16.6%, or 1 by 8 is 12.5%. Instead of calculating then at the moment, if you just can remember these, they will really help in minimizing the time required, because ultimately, there is 1 minute for one question. So these tips are very important and helpful. Also, Vedic maths, the shortcuts, if you haven't used them before, we would encourage you to go through some of the Vedic maths and shortcuts tips before. The squares, the cubes, if you can remember them, that will minimize your time. Also, the third point as mentioned is, focus on your strengths, but do not neglect the weaknesses. I would say it's a two-way thing. What happened is, sometimes, of course, people focus on their strengths and they do not try to touch the weaknesses, but that can again cut a lot of marks out of your score. But again, another thing is, what I did during my preparation was, I knew that these were my strong portions, and I practiced the weak sections a lot, and to some extent neglected the strengths. But when I came back and solved a mock, then I realized that I was not able to solve the ones that were once my strength zones. So I would encourage you to keep a balance of both. Practice both the questions that are your strength, and also do not neglect the weak ones. Yes, another important tip is choosing the options to come to the concluding answer. In some questions, you can find multiples, like the answer might be a multiple of 7 or a multiple of 13. So out of the 4 options, you can already backtrack and find out which are the ones that are multiples of 7 or 13, whatever is asked in the question. If 1 or 2 options are not the according multiples, then you can actually ignore them and follow the other 2 options. And in this way, you can backtrack the calculations and come to the answer. Yes, review geometry concepts, triangles, circles, quadrilaterals. There are 2D, 3D, all the formulas are there. Go through the formulas, try to apply the formulas. Just mugging up the formulas will not help. Try to practice more and more questions where you can implement those formula and solve the questions. And yes, I have faced a lot of this problem during my mock practice. What I did was when I was stuck in a particular question, it kind of went to my ego and I went behind that question, wasting a lot of time because I found that that particular question was my strength and I should not be avoiding it. But actually, in the paper, when you will be attempting it, I would suggest that do not get stuck on a particular question, although it belongs to your strength. Move ahead, uh, solve the other questions which you can attempt then and there. Come back because, as you know, Snap gives you the opportunity to toggle between the sections as well as through the questions multiple times. So come back to the question, to that particular question when you have already attempted all the questions that you could have done. Okay, already shared the tips for the various sections of Snap. And I really hope that these tips can help you in a preparation for Snap and you can give your best. Moving ahead, we have a surprise for you, as it was mentioned by Lavanya in the beginning. So we have a mini mock for Snap quiz for you, where there will be 12 questions and 12 minutes will be allotted to all of you. And the surprise thing is that the top performers will be getting some prizes from us. So please use your pen and paper and let's move to the next slide. Yes, so you can scan this QR code. There are 12 questions and we do not have any negative marking for this particular quiz. We have kept it as simple as we could. The 12 minutes are allotted for the 12 questions, but we'll definitely give you 1 or 2 minutes extra for filling up the details. You can find the quiz link in the chat box as well.
So while you guys are attempting the quiz, we will be happy to take some of the questions that were asked in the chat. So the first question that I see, Rajan Arora is asking, how many mocks should we give before Snap? So Rajan, one thing I can tell you is that there are no set number of mocks that you should give right before Snap. It can range from anything between 5 mocks to 10 mocks. It all depends on how well you analyze the mocks after you take them, right? So for example, if you take a mock of 1 hour, I think you should spend at least an hour and a half analyzing that particular mock. Because, as and when you keep on giving mocks, the number keeps on increasing. If you do not analyze them well, it won't make any difference because you'll be making the same mistakes again and again. So it's better that focus on analyzing where you're going wrong, whether you're making silly mistakes, whether you're making calculation errors, whether you do not understand the concept, whether you miss that particular concept, or whether it's a topic from some of your weaknesses. So look at them, address these issues, and then take the next mock when you think that you've already gone after these problems that you've been having. So yeah, like I said, there are no set number of mocks that you should give. It all depends on how well you analyze them. 5 mocks with good analysis is better than taking 15 mocks with no analysis. So another question that we have is Samir Sethi asking where to get credible Snap mocks. So I'm sure Patrick100 gives you amazing mocks. I myself have used Patrick100 mocks when I was an aspirant like you guys. And let me tell you, they're of the highest quality. And apart from that, we currently have an event going on called Rookie, which you can find if you go through our social media handles, wherein we have quizzes. We have daily quizzes that go on for 5 days a week. And on top of that, at the end of this event that we have, which is I think around 4th of December, we release a 30-minute mock and two 60-minute mocks. So that is something that you can consider as credible sources of mocks as well. So you can consider that as well.
So before we go on to address a few more questions, we just would like to tell you that the deadline for the quiz is 9:28. So make sure you scan the QR code and start attempting it as soon as possible. And in case you're facing any issues with the QR code, the link is pasted in the chat box. So like we said before, we want to make this session as interactive as possible. So please keep asking your queries on the chat box and we'll make sure to answer all of them.
So I would like to take up a question by Rajan Arora. He's asking, is there any negative marking? For this particular quiz, Rajan, we do not have any negative marking. So give as many questions, like as many attempts you can. But for the real SNAP exam, yes, there is a negative marking. So for every correct answer, it will fetch you +1. And for every wrong answer, there is a negative marking of 0.25.
So about the rookie mocks that Agniva had spoken about a while ago, you can find the link pasted in the chat box. And once again, I would like to tell you all that we were also in your shoes last year, and we know how you are feeling right now, and we understand, and we're here to help you out. So make sure you paste all your questions in the chat box, and we'll address them.
And please note that your questions need not be limited to preparation strategy itself. You can ask us about our experiences, about our college life as well. So if you're interested, you can ask that.
So we can see a comment by Rajan Arora. He says that I'm giving the daily quizzes you talked about, help me clear my basics. Just wanted to say thank you. So it's great that you're attempting the daily quizzes that we post. And we have an event currently going on called as Rookie. And like we spoke about, like Agniva spoke about it, we have daily quizzes which are posted on all our social media handles. That actually helps you with your preparation as SNAP approaches. Every day you can attempt these questions, and also we have exciting prizes at the end of each week. So the quiz is live even right now. So you can go ahead, check out our social media handles and attempt the quiz.
So I would like to take up a question asked by Samir, how to boost up my scores in mocks. So Samir, like I mentioned previously, after you take in each and every mock, you analyze it really well. You go through the basics of your verbal ability, if there's a silly mistake that you made, or if you do not know the meaning of the word. And the one tip that I would like to give you personally is that, so suppose when you're reading newspapers or when you're reading certain things, try to understand words in the context of the sentence, because oftentimes what happens is that we need not know the specific meaning of the word. If we have the context ready, we can sort of guess what the word actually means. So that is one way you can boost your scores in verbal. For LR, I would suggest that you practice some certain things like clocks and calendars, leap years, and so on and so forth, because these are some things that are kind of different from other management entrance exams. So practice these things. These little formulas will help you gain 1 or 2 marks, which can be really crucial when you come to the final calculation of the percentile and everything. And coming to quants, I think when you're focusing on your strengths, you should also not forget your weaknesses, as the level of difficulty of the questions in SNAP is slightly on the easier side. Although you don't get a calculator, so that is a little bit of a disadvantage. But just knowing the basics of certain topics which you might not be totally comfortable with, that can fetch you a lot of important and crucial marks. So make sure that you follow these strategies. And again, I cannot emphasize on how important analyzing each and every mock is. So yeah, these are all the tips that I have for you to boost your scores in the mocks.
I would like to add something to what Agniva just mentioned regarding the analyzing. So what I used to do during my preparation was I used to keep an Excel where I used to keep a track of all the questions that I had attempted in that particular mock, and I used to like grade myself on which topics were my strengths and the weaknesses. So as I've mentioned that when you will be preparing, although you are working on your weaknesses, do not just give up on the strengths, because you know that you are quite confident in those. So keep a balance, follow that Excel sheet to like maybe focus on the weaknesses a little more than the strengths. But as I've mentioned, keep a balance of both, and you can only do this by keeping a track of all the sections that you are attempting.
So just to let you all know, we have 5 minutes left on the quiz. Hope you've started attempting it and you're almost done with it. And do let us know how you found the quizzes as well on the chat. And we'll continue to address more questions. So we have a question, how many questions should I attempt to maximize my score? This was asked by Nikhil. So thank you for the question, Nikhil. We do not have any set number of questions that you can attempt to maximize the score. We have a marking system, which is a percentile-based marking system. So what happens here is you're graded with respect to your peers. So we would say that try to maximize the score as much as possible. There are a few strategies to do that. I can share one with you, which I used to do. So what I would do is I would basically take 2 rounds of the paper. The first round, I would try to attempt maximum number of questions which were easy, which I thought were easy for me. I would try to cover them. And the questions that I thought were a little tricky, I would just go through them once and I would leave them for the second round. So in the beginning, I would cover up all the questions that I was sure would give me the maximum marks. And then eventually, after my first round was done, I would go back and look at the questions that I found difficult, and which would maybe take me a little bit more time. So this was how I tried to maximize my score. And you can also try it. Like Agniva mentioned, that you should give multiple number of mocks. So one more thing that you can do is, as you attempt different kinds of mocks, you can try different kinds of methods and see which one is working out for you, which one is helping you maximize your score.
So I would like to take up Khushi's question. She's asking how difficult is the quant section. So Khushi, I would like to mention this is a subjective question. So it definitely depends on your practice and at which level you are currently. But again, I would like to add a point that the quant section for SNAP is not very high level, because whatever you have learned till your 10th standard, questions will be mostly based up to that level. No questions from your 12th or even engineering or something will be asked. So basically, if you have your base strong till your 10th standard, you can easily excel in the quant section.
So, guys, just to let you know, there's only 3 more minutes left till the time of the quiz ends. So, please try to wrap it up as soon as you can. And just to let you know, in case there are 2 people tied with the same score, we will be considering the one that is submitted earlier. So, make sure that you submit as soon as you can. And again, we have exciting prizes for the top scorers of this. And coming to Janvi's question, uh, she had said how to improve accuracy. Yeah, right. So when it comes to improving accuracy, I think instead of just doing guesswork, you should make proper calculated estimates. So, for example, what happens is that sometimes when we are talking about calculations and we make some estimates, we oftentimes we don't take into consideration where it can go wrong, right? So for that, when we came to the tips for quants, like learning the fractions of all the learning the percentages of all the fractions would be a good tip to help you score better in this. And also, when you're doing your calculations, please make sure that you're very, very on point with those, because oftentimes what happens is that we're so stuck with the concepts of the question that we forget to check even the most basics of calculations. And this is something that I faced a lot of difficulty with when I was preparing for my management entrance exams. So make sure that you work on that as well.
So the last 1 minute left, guys. We hope you've started wrapping up your quizzes and pressing on the submit button. So to take up one more question, Manas has asked us, is there any official Snap mock? So yes, Manas, we have an official Snap mock coming up very soon, and the link for the same will be pasted on your chat box. So make sure you go to the link and register there. Yeah, Agnima, would you like to take up Sana's question?
Yeah, so this is a question that we get very often, a good score for SCMHRD. So look, since we follow a percentile-based marking system, there is no particular score that we can suggest for you to get into SCMHRD specifically. All the thing that we would suggest to you is the score as high as you can, because the score versus percentile criteria that you have every single year, it differs from year to year, and it also depends on the level of difficulty of the question paper, which really cannot be said anything about. So score as high as you can, and just don't set a particular target in your mind that, you know what, I'll attempt 40 questions, I'll attempt 45 questions. Just attempt as many as you can with a reasonable good amount of accuracy, and I'm sure you'll do well. So guys, it is time to move forward with our presentation because the time for the quiz has ended. We will be announcing the results of the quiz very, very shortly, which will be at the end of the presentation. So just stay tuned for that. And moving on with the presentation. Yeah. So now let's come to about SCMHRD, which is our college. SCMHRD was established in the year 1993, so we have over 31 years of legacy. And in that amount of time, the progress it has made by leaps and bounds, it really shows. We were ranked 8th by Management in India by Financial Times. We were ranked 76th globally by Financial Times. So we're not just ranked well under private B schools in India, but we also have global rankings, which really speaks to the level of quality that we have amongst our B schools. And we also have this very prestigious AACSB accreditation, which only 5% of all B schools all across the world have this. Now, what this accreditation does is that it ensures that the infrastructure, the faculty, the rigor, the course curriculum is all up to the standards of the industry. Every single year, people come to audit everything that we have: the infrastructure, the course curriculum. They interview the professors, they interview the various activities that our college does. And it is something that is really proud. It's a really proud moment for us because 22 B schools across India have this, with the likes of IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta. These are the kind of B schools that have this particular accreditation. And apart from that, uh, our college really takes pride in having a curriculum which, with corporate relevant technical skills and promoting global exchange programs through global exposure through exchange programs and so on and so forth. And we also have a culture which is very student oriented, in the sense that everything that happens in our college happens through the students. So, for example, we have 14 clubs and committees, which Lavanya will later explain during our presentation. And right from what companies come to our college till the what kind of admission criteria that are there, everything is done by the students. So, whatever we want to do in our college, we take the initiative, we do the planning, everything is done by us, and the admin staff and everybody else is just there to support us. So right from the moment you get into our college, you are put into a culture wherein you get to have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and it not just prepares you for the corporate world, but it also prepares you for real life situations which you'll encounter later on in your life. That is the culture that SCMHRD promotes. Next slide, please. So now, how to get to SCMHRD? That is what we will explain to you in this slide. So just appearing for the SNAP test is not enough, unfortunately. It only consists of about 50% of the entire criteria that you need to get into SMHRD. So the weightage for the SNAP test is around 50%. The next two stages that you have to get through, that you have to appear for to get through to SMHRD is the GE and the PI. Now, GE stands for group exercise, which consists of 10% of the weightage that you need to get into SMHRD. And PI stands for personal interaction, which consists of 40% of the weightage. Now, a group exercise is slightly different from a group discussion, in the sense that in a group exercise, you have to present your points and you have to come to a common consensus in your group. A personal interaction is sort of different from a personal interview, in the sense that it is not a very formal interaction that you have between the panelists and the candidates. It is more to assess your personality. So even if you do not know the answer to a particular question, it does not mean that you will be rejected outright. It's more about how you handle that situation rather than having a knowledge on point. Because look, the knowledge part we can take care of when you come to our college. But To assessing your personality, we want to make sure that you are a right fit for the culture of SCMHRD. That is what we want to see in a personal interaction. And that is how it is different from a personal interview. Next slide, please. Now coming to one of the most important criteria of a B school, which are the placements. So now speaking about the summer placements of SCMHRD for the 23-25 batch, I'm proud to say that we have one of the best summer internship programs in the entire country. So the highest stipend that was offered for the 23-25 batch was 4.5 lakhs, and that was for 2 months. So you will be getting an average of around 2.25 lakhs per month. The average stipend was around 2.48 lakhs, and the median stipend was around 2 lakhs. Coming to the final placements for the 22-24 batch, the highest CTC that was offered was 38 lakhs. The average CTC that was offered was 24.28 lakhs, and the median CTC that was offered was 22.8 lakhs. Moving on. Now, coming to the MBA in Business Analytics placement figures, let me just tell you that MBA in Business Analytics is that SCMHRD has is one of the best courses in the entire country. This course was started in the year 2017, and in the course of the last 7 years, it has made progress by leaps and bounds. So, coming to the summer placement figures for MBA and BA, the highest stipend went to around 3 lakhs. The average stipend was around 1.38 lakhs, and the median stipend was around 1.4 lakhs. Coming to the final placements of the 22-24 batch, the highest CTC that was offered was 41.9 lakhs. The average CTC was around 22.14 lakhs, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. So coming to MBA in IDM, which stands for Infrastructure Development and Management, it's a very niche course that is offered by very, very few B schools across the country. And we are very proud to say that we are one of the colleges that offers this particular course. And this course in our college has one of the best return on investments that any college can have. So coming to the summer placement figures of MBA in IDM, the highest stipend was around 2.5 lakhs. The average stipend was 0.71 lakhs, and the median stipend was 0.7 lakhs. Coming to the final placements, we have the highest CTC of 28.9 lakhs and the average CTC of 15.98 lakhs. Next slide, please.
So here you can see a list of a lot of great big companies. Can you spot some companies that you would like to be a part of? If you can, do put it in the chat box. So we are very, very proud to say that these are a few of our recruiters that actually come on campus to recruit us. You can see big names such as Google, Flipkart, FedEx, Puma, Aditya Birla Capital, etc. Moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah. So like Agniva mentioned before, we are a student-driven campus. We have 14 clubs and committees on campus, and all of them are mentioned here. So like I mentioned while introducing ourselves, that we are a part of the admissions and PR committee. So what we do is we help with the processes related to the admission. And we are very, very, it actually helps us hone the skills that would eventually help us in the corporate world. We also have corporate relations team. Every single activity that happens on campus is something that is backed by the students. For example, we have the NEEV, which is one of the biggest B school fests that happen in our country. And it is actually organized by a body of students who are a part of the NEEV committee. And we have the alumni relations team where the students interact with the alumni and keep in regular touch with them so that we can improve our curriculum as per the industrial standards. We also have the sports committee. Recently, we had the Symbiosis Premier League, which was actually held by the sports committee. It was completely organized, etc. by them. And so we have Samatva, which is the committee that actually holds many events where we give back to the community. We have students who from around our campus who come to our college, and we teach them, young students. And we also have various other committees like the media and PR, the guest lecture team, etc. So moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah, Mritika, would you like to take up?
Yeah, sure. So I think that Lavanya and Agniva will agree to the point that this is one of our favorite slides, because in this slide, our entire campus is shown. Although I believe that a few snippets are not enough to show the vibrant campus life that we have here at SCMHRD. But sure, we would like to walk you through some of the photos. We have a building, the campus building is right there in front of you. Apart from the building, we have an auditorium where the seating capacity is 500 plus. So there are a lot of guest lectures, corporate visits to our campus. And then this auditorium is where we actually gather. And we have a library uh, where you can find books related from Harvard publications, Bloomberg terminals, everything in the library. For sport enthusiasts, we have gym, we have a swimming pool, as well as we have a multi-sports arena where you can play all your favorite sports. And also the life of SMHRD, we have our Symbiosis and Urban Katta. These are the food joints that actually stay awake all throughout the night because, during MBA life, you need to stay awake at night to complete all the assignments, projects, committee activities, and everything. And you require food. And this is when the Symbiotes and Urban Katta come to our rescue. And these are not only places like where people go and study, but also you can find people jamming and making friends right over there. Okay, moving on to the next slide, please. Okay, so we also have events and campaigns throughout the year, particularly targeted for the aspirants who would like to come to SMHRD. Like since Snap is knocking at the doors right now, we have social media events and campaigns like Word Up, where we post questions on verbal ability. We have logical amethyst posting questions on the logical and analytical reasoning section. The formula of the week campaign is particularly targeted for the quant section. And also recently we had our own national level case study competition called Strategy, wherein people like students all across the country participated, and there were 9 finalists who came to the campus and took part in this case study competition. As of now, we are running our event called Rookie, wherein we have already mentioned that there are weekly quizzes for the aspirants, and these quizzes are very much helpful when it comes to preparing for SNAP, because you can find daily quizzes and you can actually keep up your practice and everything. And also, Agniva will be talking about the Rookie in detail a little later. So we have another campaign, which is things you don't know about SMHRD. So a lot of aspirants do have questions in their mind about different aspects of SMHRD, and we like to cover certain aspects like those in this particular campaign of ours. Apart from these, we also have a very different kind of a campaign, which is called Tranquility Tales, which is mainly targeted for those aspirants who are, continuously anxious about the exams, and in order to calm them down, we have this campaign wherein the students of SMHRD come up with the ways in which they used to calm down their anxious moments and keep themselves cool in order to give the exams. Let's move ahead.
Yeah, so before I come to this particular event that we have, I would just like to say that the link to our social media handles has been pasted in the chat box. So you can click on the links and visit any of our social media handles, and you can participate in all of the events and campaigns that we have. So now coming to Rookie 9.2 specifically, this is a campaign that has been running all throughout the month of November. And so we currently, for the daily quizzes, it's the final week of it. And so every single morning at around 12 p.m. we post the Google link, the Google Form link on our social media stories. So you can attempt it, and if you are selected as the top scorer of the week, there are certain prizes waiting for you at the end of it. Now, coming to the main thing that we have in Rookie is that from on the 2nd of December, we have a mini Snap quiz. So it will be in the format of the SNAP exam itself, where you'll have 30 minutes to answer 30 questions. On the 3rd and 4th, we have 2 full-length mocks that consist of 60 minutes and 60 questions each. These are 2 mocks that you have to register on Unstop. The link for the QR code for the link of Unstop has been pasted in the presentation over here. So in case you want a good source of mock tests, this is something that you can readily use. And so I'll just ask the presenter to stay on the slide for 2 minutes so that people can scan the QR code and register for the mock tests online. For the people facing problems in scanning the QR code, the link has also been pasted in the chat box. And also, we are very proud to say that we have collaborated with our very own Patrick100 to make this event a grand success. So a very big thanks to the entire team for the entire help that they have provided. Okay, yeah. So moving on. Yes. So this time we also have an official Snap mock that we as SCMHRD students have come up with. This is an official Snap mock wherein we have come up with questions from previous year from various sources, and we really think that this will simulate the level of difficulty of the actual Snap exam that will take place. The QR code that you find over here is also linked to Unstop where you can go register, and this is also a very credible source of a mock test that you can use to boost your preparations. So again, the link for the same has also been pasted in the chat box. So in case you face any problems with scanning the QR code, you can go to the chat box, you can copy the link, and you can register on Unstop for this particular mock test. And I'll just ask the presenter to stay on the slide for 2 minutes so that you guys can, go and register for the same.
So, like we had received a lot of questions about the SNAP mocks and how many number of SNAP mocks we receive, one has to take. Like Agniva spoke about the mocks that are there in Rookie, the official SNAP mock is also something that you can attempt, and it will definitely be very, very helpful for your preparation. The thing is that practicing maximum number of questions is important, but giving mocks are also important because mocks actually prepare you for the D-Day. It gives you a proper idea about how the 60-minute exam will go, and you can sit down and analyze where you are lacking preparation and what you need to work on. So we really, really strongly recommend you to register for the SNAP mock as well as Rookie, because as we all know, SNAP is approaching very, very shortly and we don't have a lot of time. So this is the time to increase your preparation and maximize it as much as possible. So giving as many mocks as possible as you can will help you with this. So like Agniva mentioned, you can see the QR code right in front of you. Make sure you scan it and you register for the mock, and the link to the same will also be pasted in the chat box. And also, if you have any queries related to this, you can type them out in the chat box and we will definitely be addressing it.
So answering to the question Ronak has just asked, I have registered for SNAP but did not register for SCMHRD. Can I register now? Yes, definitely, because the last date for registering for SCMHRD is 7th of December, and we would encourage you to register as soon as possible.
So, like we mentioned, be as interactive as you can. Please do put in your questions in the chat box. We're here to address you. And I'm repeating this again. We were also in the same shoes as you are last year, and we also went through the same situation. And we understand maybe you are going into your final prep mode, and the exam is soon approaching, and you need as much assistance and help as you can, and we're here to do that. So make sure you paste your questions in the chat box and we'll address them.
And also addressing to Ronak, since you haven't registered for SCMHRD as of now, You can find the link for registering right in the chat box. So please go ahead and register.
And so, guys, one of the questions that we frequently get is that if you need to separately fill out the forms for the colleges, if you have already filled out the form for SNAP, the answer is yes. You need to fill out the forms for each and every college that you want to apply for separately. And it also applies to the various courses that you're applying for. So, for example, if you are applying, SCMHRD offers three courses broadly, which is MBA Core, MBA in Business Analytics, and MBA in Infrastructure Development and Management. So you have, if you're interested in all of the three courses, or if you're interested in more than one of these courses, you have to separately register for the two. So please make sure that once you're registering for SNAP, you also fill out the form for the colleges, because in case you miss it and the deadline is over, you will not be able to register after that. So please keep this in mind when you're filling out the forms.
So we have a very, very interesting question by Ronak. He's asking, how do I join a committee? That seems interesting. So the process to join committees are very, very fun, actually. We have a lot of different activities that are lined up in the committee selection week. So we have various, fun rounds that are there. And I still remember the time that I applied for the admissions and PR team and how I got there. We had multiple fun rounds, and it was actually an experience that I will remember for a very long time, because other than just having fun, I also picked up a lot of skills there. We had different kinds of rounds that actually helped me in my honing my skills. So yeah, so Agniva, would you like to add something?
So adding on to the committees, selections and everything. So right from the moment you get into our college, there's a lot of buzz about committees and the various work that they do, right? And so you might think that, getting into a committee is like, yeah, they'll have an interview or two or something like that, but that is not the thing. When we had our committee selection rounds, it went on for around 2 weeks, and there were at least 4 to 5 rounds for each and every committee. And that applied for all of the 14 clubs and committees that are there on the campus. And as and when the rounds progressed, each and every committee had their own specific set of tasks and a specific set of activities that we had to do. And each of them were very, very different from each other. And so the thing is that we will not spoil the fun for you. You register for SCMHRD, you come to our college, and then you'll find out how fun it actually is.
Also, if you want to have a sneak peek into the different committees and clubs that we have on campus, the link is pasted on the chat box. You can use them for your reference.
So I think we've reached a part which is very, very exciting. We said that we would announce something towards the end of the session, and I think it's time for that. Agniva, would you like to take this up?
Yeah, sure. So moving on to the next slide. So before we just say thank you and move on with our lives, I would just like to announce the winners of the quiz that we have over here. So the second prize goes to Aditya Yadav. Congratulations, Aditya. Congratulations on scoring such a high score in this particular test. And the first winner is Vexrival Palanevial. So congratulations to you too. And there are some exciting prizes waiting for you at the end of the session. So just stay tuned, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
So congratulations, winners. So here we have a QR code to all our socials. So what is the significance of this? We have multiple events and campaigns that we host. Some of the campaigns, like Mritvika mentioned, are Formula of the Week, Word Up, etc. So these will actually help you with your preparation. And you can, these are posted on a weekly basis. We give out different formulas, different questions, etc. That will eventually help with your preparation. So make sure you scan the QR code and join us on our social media handles. And like we spoke about the official Snap mock and rookie so much, all the updates we'll be posting again on our social media handles. And eventually, after the session ends, we're sure you'll have a lot of queries. So you can come down to our probably Instagram page or our Facebook page and ask, DM us your queries, and we'll make sure that they are answered. And if you have any other questions as of now, you can paste it in the chat box.
Also, like do follow us on our social media handles because we have really something very exciting for you. So we have a last minute Snap revision compendium, the Ready Reckoner, which is particularly targeted for all the Snap aspirants like you. So you can just come and approach us on our social media handles like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And we'll DM you the link for the same. And we can promise you that it will be very much beneficial for you right now, which is the time when the Snap is just knocking at the doors.
So to add to that, in case you're not able to scan the QR code or you're facing some issue, all the links to our socials have been pasted in the chat box. So make sure you go there and follow us.
So we would really like to thank you guys for coming out here and giving us your time. And we understand that it's the middle of the exam season and everybody is feeling very, very anxious about what's about to come. We would just like to wish you all the very, very best and really thank you so much for interacting with us, for being such a nice audience. And so we're more or less done with the presentation. And if we do not have any other questions, I think we can conclude this particular session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and all the best for your SNAP exams. And we hope to see you on the other side, hopefully in the admissions and PR team. So yeah, with that, I think we can wrap up the session.
And also adding to that, thank you so much, Patrick100, for giving us this opportunity to having this session with you. It was really nice conducting this session with the aspirants, and we would really hope for a lot of them to join SCMHRD and be on the campus with us next year.
Yeah. So as we wind up the session, thanks for the SCMHRD team for the wonderful session. It was quite informative. And if you all have any inputs, you can always reach out to them whenever you'll want. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, yeah,